Hey guys, it's Steven here. Welcome back to another video, back to another episode of 5 Things That We Learned. And this time, we're talking about Manchester City's draw yesterday against Southampton down at St Mary's. It wasn't perfect, was it? But I don't think it was anywhere near as bad as people are making it out to be personally. And today, I'm going to talk about why I am not concerned, really, and why you shouldn't be concerned, in my personal opinion. Before I do that, I would like to say, please do hit that like button. Let's try and get to 1,000 likes and try and get to 60k subscribers finally. I'm like less than 200 off now. Please do me a massive favour if you don't mind. Let's get to 60,000 subscribers. And also, while you're down there clicking those links and all that kind of stuff, click that OneFootball link as well. Let's download OneFootball together. Let's get the best football app on the market by absolutely none. Do that, please. Help support this channel and get all the stats and information that you need from across the world of football. And of course, as well, man, it's a January transfer window, so if you want any good gossip and all that kind of stuff, download OneFootball. If you want to hear the latest transfers, download OneFootball. If you want all the Manchester City stats and information, download OneFootball. Do it right now. Help support the channel. It'd be massively appreciated. So I'm going to start with a place where I feel like we have to start, because I'm going to contradict myself in a slight way. What did we learn from this game? Absolutely nothing. We did learn things, but I'm going to start nothing, and it's not the nothing in the way that I say it is. It's nothing in the fact that, well, nothing's really changed. We can sit here and pretend that this game has massive implications on the Premier League title race because Liverpool won today, or we could be realistic and say, actually, it doesn't really mean out. It doesn't really mean anything, in my personal opinion, because nothing has really changed whatsoever. All that happened was that Manchester City ended their incredibly impressive 12-game winning streak with a draw away against a team that were absolutely fantastic. That is all that's happened, because inevitably at some point we were going to drop points. This isn't bad news. This isn't a breakdown. This doesn't really mean that we should be panicking. This doesn't mean that Manchester City actually aren't as good as we think we are. This doesn't mean that we're vulnerable. This doesn't mean that we have anything to fear all of a sudden. All it means is that the inevitable happened. Manchester City dropped points against a team that played an absolutely fantastic performance. That is fine. It doesn't change anything. And the temptation is to worry and panic and go, oh, well, what if Liverpool all of a sudden win every single game and City lose every game? And blah, blah, blah. No, calm down. It's going to happen. Teams drop points every now and then. It just so happens it hurts more because we're not used to it. But it is normal. We've learned nothing about football other than that every now and then you will drop points, even a Guardiola side. So I guess I'm trying to call for calmness and not an overreactionary. If City were abysmal yesterday and we played terribly, I would understand. But I don't think we were. We had a poor start, of course. But that happens every now and then. But the reaction, of course, after Guardiola had a word with them was fantastic. And in the second half, City were really good. So the only thing we learned is actually nothing's different. We had a bad game, but Guardiola still got a reaction out of them. And still, we probably did enough to win. Possibly, if we got some decisions in our favour, but it wasn't happening in the end. Those days can happen. Nothing's changed. That is football. The second thing I want to talk about is a reaction to what I've just said, is Pep's focus is well and truly there. We did learn that Pep's focus, and what I'm talking about was his reaction after the game. Might be a bit weird, but Guardiola did his whole "we will play fantastically" thing, but he did it with a dead-eyed stare, which I love to see every now and then. People called him rude. I don't think it was rude, just been Pep being a bit weird and intense. But Pep's intensity, to me, afterwards, when he does his slightly focused, "we were brilliant" thing, where you can see something's driving mad in the back of his head, that for me is enough of a reason to feel confident. Pep does not suffer fools. Pep does not get where he gets to without being one of the best managers ever in the history of the game. Pep does not get his team to win that many games in a row without being who he is. And this is the reason this team is that good, because of Pep Guardiola. And Pep's focus was absolutely on display, in my personal opinion, in his after-match interviews, where he was clearly absolutely deadly focused on what he had to do. And you could tell it really bothered him that we dropped points. And for me, that is always enough to make sure that when the games come back round at the start of next month, Manchester City will be focused, we will be steely, determined, and we will have something to prove, because Guardiola will make sure they know it. This guy is a winner. He's a born winner. And that focus, to me, is absolutely telling that he wants to make sure we get something. The third thing I want to talk about is Sterling. And I put Raz calm, because obviously it fits in the gap a lot easier than putting be patient with Sterling. But I'm saying be calm with Raz, because even though he had a bad game yesterday, I think we're too quick to forget how good he was in the previous month and what he'd just achieved and how good he was against Chelsea, for example. People are absolutely entitled to have a bad day. And even though obviously Sterling's had a bad year and a half before that, maybe in terms of his form, It doesn't mean because he gets good again, we should panic as soon as he has a slightly poor game. It doesn't mean we should throw the baby out with the bathwater and presume that actually now Sterling's return to form was nothing more than a blip and we actually shit again. It's not fair to do that. Players are allowed to have a bad game in the way that most of the team did yesterday, because that is human. We need to be calm on this and presume that actually currently that this one game where he missed a sitter and made some bad decisions was just a blip on his current radar. If it goes wrong and he has a few bad games in a row, I understand the alarm bells at that point. But right now, let's give him the benefit of doubt and remember that his form recently, he was the most informed player. He won the Premier League Player of the Month. He was excellent. Great last week. Last week as well, for some reason, people seem like it's miles ago. It wasn't. It was a week ago that we were great against Chelsea and imperiously impressive. We need to remember that we have to remain calm. And Sterling is entitled to a bad game like everyone else. He's not. The idea that because he had a bad spell of form, he's not allowed to make any mistakes going forward is not fair. It's unrealistic as well. So we need to remember to remain calm when we talk about Sterling and other players, especially if their recent form warrants a little bit of a break. And I think it does in terms of like, give him a break, not literally a time break. I mean, just give him a break, man. He played well recently, had a bad day. I have bad days, and every now and then I have good months and then a bad day. So do you as well. And admit it. We all have bad days every now and then. The fourth thing I want to talk about is actually maybe we missed Gundo, Gundogan's barely played recently, and that's an interesting take, and it's obviously because Guardiola is trying to fit certain players into the team, and I do miss him. I do miss Gundo, if I'm being honest. I absolutely love the guy, and I think maybe there's a measure of control and form that we probably do miss. His nuance and his composure and his little dink passes over the top and his subtlety to his game probably could do us a favour in a game against a team like Southampton where we need a little bit more measure of control. And even though we didn't really lack possession of the ball, it was more the quality of the possession. There's more the movement to create these little half spaces, to create these little channels and pockets, which he's so good in moving into. That's, to me, what we miss from Gundogan. And I think at the moment it's with Guardiola. Of course, he's playing De Bruyne into form and Bernardo's been undroppable. And maybe, of course, the fact that we've got so many talented forwards, he's trying to fit everyone in. And Gundo, unfortunately, has been the one to drop out. But I wouldn't be surprised if we see a return in the next game of Gundogan. Maybe someone like Grealish or even Foden's form hasn't been excellent. Maybe they'll drop out a little bit with a false nine for someone like Kev or Bernardo or even Gundogan himself. I think we've missed him a little moment. I think we've missed his calmness and his quality, his late in the box runs as well. And Gundo has a silkiness and understanding to the game that sometimes you kind of need to help pull defenders out of position, to help find a little bit of pocket of space that he's so good at doing. I think we need to see Gundo back in the team, and I'm sure we will do. But even though I trust the team to get it done, I think every now and then Gundogan's elegance on the pitch and his calmness can be missed. And finally, I want to just basically say we learned that we're hard to beat, man. We're really hard to beat. And what I mean by that is, despite all the circumstances that went against us yesterday, we still managed to get a point and probably were most likely to win that game if it played on a little bit longer. And what I mean by this is we're tough. And that, to me, is a good reason to not panic. And it's a good reason to remember that come the end of the season, we're probably going to be Premier League champions, and because we're a very tough side to beat. Despite yesterday, maybe a red card should have happened. Maybe there was a strong penalty shout. I don't know. Maybe the penalty shout was a bit iffy. But either way, they should have probably been down to 10 men, in my personal opinion. Despite all that, despite that bad luck in our favour, that was bad luck against us. And despite Southampton having a pretty much perfect game defensively, they were excellent defensively and they worked their hardest and they went for it, and the opposition fans were really up for it. Despite all that, so despite bad refereeing, despite Southampton playing really well defensively, and despite Kyle Walker-Peters scoring an insane goal totally out of character for him, we still found a way to control the game towards the end and get a point from that. I guess the point I'm trying to make here is that this Manchester City side are incredibly determined, and we keep seeing examples of that. Even when things seem to go against us, we usually pretty much always find a way to get back into this game. And that, to me, shows the character of this Manchester City side. It's why I'm confident that even though, of course, we dropped some points, Liverpool gains 2 back on us, I'm not concerned. I'm not, because I understand and trust the confidence of this Manchester City side. I understand and trust their ability, man. And I think we all should. They've earned our respect. They've earned our faith. And Guardiola has them focused, and he has them reacting to poor moments in a way that Guardiola sides do. That's what I love about this team. They are tough mentally. They are tough and focused, and they make it impossibly hard for other teams to get points against us. That is why we won 12 games in a row, because we are very hard to beat. And I don't see any reason why that will change. 9 times out of 10, that performance yesterday gets us 3 points against most teams. A little bit of luck for the opposition potentially, and it's just one of those days. But that is what I love about this Manchester City side. I know people are now a little bit nervous. I've seen it online about the Liverpool title challenge. If Liverpool win the game in hand, it's only 6 points. And then if they beat us, it's only 3 points. And if they have... Look, Manchester City usually, touch wood, it doesn't happen, of course, but based on all common circumstance and knowledge of Manchester City under Guardiola, we don't tend to drop loads and loads of points in consecutive games. It doesn't really happen. It doesn't. And recently, it's not happened for a long time because Guardiola is such a focused winner and this squad is such a focused bunch of winners. Would anyone be surprised if out of the remaining 15 games, City won 10 or 11 games? If we did, that would mean Liverpool would have to win every single game, basically. I just can't see those circumstances unfolding in a way that benefits Liverpool. I can't see Liverpool winning every single game because I think they'll drop points in 2 or 3 games. That means that you only have to win 10 or 11, basically. I am very confident, and you should be confident too. Of course, it isn't over. I'm not stupid. It isn't over. But all stats and odds and logic and rationale is based in Manchester City's favour. So that is why I'm personally confident, because this side is tough to beat. And this side has got Guardiola, and this side are winners, and this side will have something to prove in the next game. And that's why I cannot wait to watch it. Guys, thanks for watching this video. Do let me know down in the comments what you made of the game yesterday and how you're feeling after this weekend's football. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Big love to all the patrons currently scrolling down the side of the screen. I'm Patreon Scott Denemy. You're all absolutely beautiful. Hit the subscribe button. Prem soon come, of course. T-shirt here still in the link in the description below. Download One Football. Watch my match reaction from yesterday, and I'll see you tomorrow for a live stream. I've got my Elgato working now, so I can stream again in this new office, and also hopefully the sound will get better soon because I'm going to get more pictures on the wall and the blinds on the window because it's just an open window. It'll get better, I promise you. In a bit.